We're four friends who live across the globe
and share a love of Bon Appétit's YouTube channel.
So we came together to bring you our thoughts on what BA serves up.
And try our hands at recreating their dishes.
Welcome to Pod Appétit.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
Hey, I'm Justine.
And it's me, Meg. LJ couldn't join us today, but rest assured she will be back soon. And we're all back from the holidays. It was Christmas just a few days ago. So welcome back, Justine and Amanda. What have you guys been up to? Cooking any holiday foods?
Heck no.
No, I ate holiday foods. I ate lots of holiday foods, but the house that my mom's where I'm currently staying was in transition at that time. So while I was still in town, there was no counter space to cook any food. So I didn't cook anything, but I ate lots of delicious things. I had our annual pierogies with my husband's family because he's Ukrainian. So had pierogies and kielbasa, and my husband and his brother had a pierogi eating contest, essentially. Jeremy ate 18 and his brother Josh ate 19 pierogies. I had a total of 4, and that seemed like a lot.
So were these potato and onion pierogi, or did they have cheese also?
They were largely just potato with a little bit of cheese in them.
And do you serve them with applesauce or sour cream?
There's on the side that you can add yourself sour cream, onions, and mushrooms.
Yum. I love pierogi.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I have been moving, so as much as I've wanted to cook, I had much intentions to. I did not because I've been so tired. But my friend Dan brought me latkes.
Aw, good job, Dan.
Yeah, he made them. He's like my neighbor because he just lives around the corner. And he was homemade making latkes and brought me them with some vegan sour cream too. He didn't want me to miss out.
That sounds delicious. I also didn't do any cooking. I was out of town for the holidays. I just got back yesterday, but I had the lovely experience of having other people cook for me, which is always really nice to be taken care of like that around the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Did Mary make you anything awesome?
Yes. So that candied fruit bread that I mentioned in our Christmas episode, the Christmas/Easter Lithuanian bread, she had made some of that. So our family had the classic Christmas bread, which I was very much looking forward to. So that was really good. And I did help my mom make some pumpkin pie while I was staying at my parents' house. So I guess I helped a little bit with a little bit of cooking.
I ordered Pad CU.
All right, so on the menu for today's episode, we have Trying Everything on the Menu at New York City's Best Barbecue Joint, featuring Brad Leone, Every Way to Cook Bacon, 50 Methods, Brad Makes Fish Jerky, It's Alive, Recreating Paul Hollywood's Cornish Pasties from Taste, Rick Makes Apple Cider Doughnuts from the Test Kitchen, Andy Learns How to Cook Northern Indian Food, Pastry Chef Attempts to Make Gourmet Pizza Rolls, Gourmet Makes, Pro chefs share their hardest cooking tasks. It's hard to say tasks. Test kitchen talks. And finally, Pro chef learns how to make dog food. So do we want to start with trying everything on the menu, or do we want to mention the secret video that was immediately removed?
Let's talk about the secret video, because I did watch it.
Me too. It was only 54 seconds long. So very briefly, Bon Appetit posted how to make quick and delicious sesame roasted winter squash. And it kind of just broke the internet because it was the old hands and pans top-down recording format, which BA has gone on record as not liking anymore. It's very much not in vogue, but this was an old BA video from 2016 that used to live on their website. And then it was uploaded to YouTube. I don't know whether it was just a straight up mistake or whether they posted it and saw everyone in the comments being like, "Rrr, dislike," and decided to pull it.
I think it was an accident.
Probably. It just kind
Yeah.
of boggles my mind that they could accidentally post the video and the title and the description to all be matching in content, but maybe they had it queued to go for something else.
Yeah, because you can find the video living on their website, on the appropriate website page. So I feel like that and the metadata, does live for some place, somewhere, somehow they upload videos, probably sort of, the link only. So it made it public instead of private. Something like that.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made.
Well, and how quickly they took it down, too, seemed like it was more of a mistake than it was like, oh, we're going to test out the waters on this one. Like, it didn't seem like a trial balloon.
Yeah. And it went up at their traditional episode time. So I think it's just someone scheduled the wrong video. Like it had existed something, but, mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that was kind of funny how the internet reacted.
Yeah.
Because we've come to expect a certain something from Bon Appetit, and that was not it.
Oh, yeah. The comment section was lit.
Yeah. But I will say this crop of videos that we're going to talk about, I think are very quality videos they are putting out lately. I am happy that there is not a lot of content we have to cover.
Yes.
And B, they got some pretty good stuff. Like, I'm pretty happy. I mean, I think they're doing with this batch, which I know they're just doing because of the holidays, but to me, this feels like quality over quantity.
I agree. I also think that they maybe scaled back their release schedule a little bit for the holidays, but I wish they would keep it at this pace. I don't think they need to pump out as many as they had been in the weeks leading up to this. And a lot of these videos were shorter than they have been lately. Like It's Alive was only 16 minutes long, which felt perfectly long to me. So
yeah, there was not a video longer than 34 minutes.
Which I thought was great. I thought that the videos had been running a bit long recently. So yeah, good batch of videos.
I think it'll be interesting to see what they do in the new year. Because like our next episode will include some 2020 stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with their schedule then.
Yeah. So shall we start with the first official video? Trying everything on the menu at New York City's best barbecue joint featuring Brad Leone.
I think they're a good pair.
I do too.
As much as they're mortal enemies, they're good buddies to watch.
Yes.
I really like them together too. And I also enjoyed that they acknowledged the sort of Bon Appetit universe / lore of, aren't we supposed to hate each other? Delaney, when it's obvious they're pals. I really like their dynamic and their chemistry too. I like that Brad just kind of cracks up Delaney constantly. And I think that Brad is also playfully annoyed when Delaney goes off on his descriptors or his 4 kinds of coleslaw, for example.
Yeah. I like that Brad is like, oh, you're making this a serious show? No, we're not about that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want it to be a serious show. Sometimes Delaney gets too serious.
Yeah, their hosting styles are so different. It's pretty funny to see Brad react to how Delaney handles his show.
Well, I feel like Delaney is trying to do like scripted fun in a way, like the way he has all of his categories and his rules, and Brad's like, I'm gonna take another bite of this, or let me see if I can fit this whole thing in my mouth in one bite.
Yeah, it's one bite.
It was technically. Is this the first time we've had a purposeful rule breaker on one of everything? I feel like Rick might have accidentally taken more than one bite, but Brad was just going for it.
Rick did it in secret outside.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, they did the thing where he was like in the phone booth or whatever, like eating.
That was definitely intentional, yeah.
Yeah.
Also scripted fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brad's been on it before, right?
He has, yes.
He did the burger one. Okay, I was wondering, because they were also drinking like the wine as they went along. Did anybody else think that Brad got a little drunk by the end?
Brad loves
Quite
to
possibly.
get drunk.
Yeah. Like in the Making Perfect Thanksgiving, he was pushing wine on everyone constantly. I think it's safe to say he was pretty drunk by the end of this video.
Yeah. I was like, there were a few times I was like, oh, he's slurring his words a little bit. Like, not in a bad way. Like, my co-host on Mafia Minute loves to drink when we record, but if we, like, once it gets towards the end of the recording, when I'm listening back, I'm like, Steven had a couple vodkas by then. Like, I could...
Yeah, this is why I stopped drinking when recording Indoors Women. But it's really hard to tell the difference between drunk Brad and just Brad, don't you think?
Yeah,
True.
I think so. But I don't know. I liked it. It was fun. This is one of the things where LJ would say, like, I am putting this on my list. I'm going to go to this restaurant I go back to New York.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, I don't know, they've been kind of a little bit, not boring lately, but kind of repetitive. They can get repetitive for me, this show. But I really liked the way Brad was just, like, kind of shaking it up and shaking up the format.
I agree. And as with all the series, actually, I still love them all, obviously. But when you do watch them religiously every week, it does start to feel more formulaic than it might to the casual viewer. So I agree. I also really liked that Brad added a little something different to this episode. I also really love barbecue. So this episode made me very hungry.
What looked good on the menu to you?
They mentioned how a lot of barbecue places really emphasize their sides. And I have to say that the sides looked really good to me. That cornbread looked delicious. The mac and cheese and the potato salad especially. And they both commented that they find smoked turkey to be underrated at barbecue places, and I totally agree. I love smoked turkey at a barbecue joint, so I appreciated that they said that, and I also thought that turkey looked great, and I'm glad that it placed in their final rankings.
I was a little surprised they didn't do, like, a taste test of, like, the different barbecue sauces, like, with some of, like, the...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like, the pulled pork and the pulled chicken, like, that stuff. I thought maybe... Because, I mean, I'm not big into barbecue, but when I've been to barbecue places, that's sort of one of their things, is they have all these different sauces that you can put with the various smoked foods.
Isn't there a style of barbecue that doesn't really emphasize the sauce, though? It's more like in the cooking. That's where you get the flavor, and that there's not much sauce added post-cooking.
Probably. You would know way more about that than I would, Meg, because I'm
not a barbecue expert.
Barbecue queen.
No, I'm definitely not. There's lots of different styles of barbecue.
LJ's listening right now and yelling the answer.
I don't know. It's pretty American, this one. Okay, moving on to every way to cook bacon, 50 methods. So I feel like we're speaking for LJ a lot here, but I have to say, I really agree with what she's been saying lately of not enjoying these videos as much. I've enjoyed all of them up until this one, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe it was just because I watched a lot of Bon Appetit videos today, and this one was towards the end, but I was getting a little tired. I didn't know if I needed 30 minutes of cooking bacon. And also, it's one of those things where I kind of wish I hadn't read the comments, just in general. I see a lot of people commenting on these videos about how they really don't like the yum noises he's making in post and the gestures and stuff.
I see those too. I don't know
I know.
why.
And I don't entirely agree, but just the fact that it's been pointed out to me so much, that was kind of living in my brain as I watched this video, and I think it just really stood out to me more than it would have otherwise.
Oh, see, I'm still the opposite. I really enjoy these, and I like the silliness stuff, and this might have been my favorite one of all of them.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff seemed delicious to me, and nothing's seemed like too overly gross. Like, even some of the more wackadoo stuff, I was like, I might try it.
You would try one of the many crazy bacon microwave gadgets?
I don't know about that, especially when he said they all tasted like plastic, but like the bacon caramel I thought was interesting, and like even like the ice cream, like different things like he made like that, I thought was definitely, I don't know, just something kind of interesting to try. And all the different, I just found this one really fascinating for me, and probably as educational as like maybe not quite as educational as the steak one, where I learned steak shouldn't be gray, but I don't know, I enjoyed this one a lot, and I usually don't look at the comments. I let you guys do that because I don't want to get too in my brain about it, because I do that. But I did look at like the breakdown of all the different kinds, and this video was originally supposed to be like 4 minutes longer. I noticed in particular there was supposed to be a bacon burger, like a burger made of bacon, and that was not in the final video, but it was in the list.
Weird.
So I think they removed 1 or 2 of them that were originally there.
Okay, so my favorite one of these has been potato, because I think you can get multiple varieties. This one I didn't find as interesting, and I feel like I only like half watched it, because bacon is bacon, and what he's looking for the exact same thing every time. Like, is it crispy? Is it flexible? Like, he's making the same thing over and over again for half an hour. So this one was like a half watch for me.
Yeah, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if it were simply shorter. The 30 minutes was a bit much for me, especially when so many of the outcomes seemed so predictable. Like all the microwave gadgets, you knew those weren't going to turn out great. You know, there was no surprise to that. But I agree with you, Amanda. There were a lot of things he made here that I thought, oh, that sounds really good. The bacon caramels. I thought the bacon bourbon actually sounded really interesting, and the bacon straw made me laugh. I'm pretty surprised that it was actually watertight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bacon jam, of course. I love bacon jam at like restaurants and stuff.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I messaged you guys. The one thing that like, I was just like, oh God, Emil, how could you? He was making bacon mayonnaise. Cool. Whatever. But he put mustard in the mayonnaise. And that made me so upset, because just like the littlest taste of mustard and my whole body just like seizes up. And I was like, no.
That's so funny. I had no idea you were referencing this video.
Yes, I was so angry.
I was just like, okay, Amanda, be mad about mustard.
Yeah, I typically have a sandwich with mayo and mustard, so having mustard in with the mayo doesn't really bother me.
I guess I'm a mayo purist over here. Don't mix that mustard in there. I wonder what LJ would think of that combination.
Yeah, I don't know. Of all the weird ice creams he's made, this one sounded the best to me. I honestly don't see anything wrong with it. It's salty plus sweet, creamy and fatty. I think it would be a pretty good ice cream.
Yeah. I think it could be like a fun, like novelty little ice cream to have like on the side of something.
All right, raise your hand if you had your hair crimped as a child.
Hand raised.
All hands raised.
80s babies.
Good old crimping irons.
I was surprised he didn't bring out a straight iron too.
Okay, next video. I feel like we've been waiting for this one forever. They have referenced the fish jerky in the dehydrator so often.
Yeah.
It's Brad makes fish jerky. It's alive.
Yeah, we've been waiting, and then it's a dud.
I know. So I felt that this was very old school. It's live because it definitely was not focused on the recipe, and the recipe failed, which I feel like was kind of a hallmark of some of the older videos.
And then we got to figure out why Brad had a vendetta against a Kevin.
Kevin.
Oh, yeah, Kevin, who looks like every camera guy I've ever dated.
Can't tell if burn.
It's just true.
Yeah, the Kevin part was definitely my favorite part of the video. We got to learn the story that they teased back on the ginger beer episode. And I love that they used the verb Kevined to describe something being messed up by a Kevin. You guys might have a Kevin running around in your world too. I don't know. You might be Kevin. I don't know. So I don't know. Are you the Kevin in your own lives, or do you guys have a Kevin?
I probably am the Kevin. I would probably mess it up.
I have Kevins.
I'm Justine's Kevin. No, I hope not. I hope I don't mess it up.
No, I think it's got to be in person.
Yeah.
So Delaney, again, Brad Delaney.
Yeah, they're a team now. They're pals.
Super friends. even.
Is it just because a new nemesis has replaced Delaney? We've got Kevin now.
Now it's a Kevin.
Delaney just has kind of been popping up lately and just putting himself in people's videos.
I guess that's true, especially in this batch. But I don't dislike it. It's enjoyable.
No complaints here. I'm really enjoying Delaney.
I liked that there was also the Claire on her lunch break while Brad was doing this.
Good old Claire cameo. Yeah, Delaney was definitely a standout part of this episode for me, too. I really have to applaud Hunzi for the Pokemon bit, the 8-bit video game moment where a wild Delaney appeared. There were just so many good little details in that part. It was so funny. I laughed so much, and I rewatched that part probably 3 or 4 times. I think my favorite part of that was the little garlic bulbs as the health bar instead of hearts.
Yeah. I saw that on Twitter first before I saw the video, and I was like, oh, look, new fan art. And then I saw the video. I was like, oh, it's in the video.
That's exactly what I thought, too. I saw that before watching the video. Oh, and we also learn that Brad has been going commando for the last 6 years.
Whoa!
Oh, my God.
I'm not sure if we needed to know that information.
The whole pant dick ending. A little bit NSFW. But
yes, for sure.
I loved it, but yeah.
I feel like Chris, the look on his face just said that he really regretted saying anything about Brad's underwear.
Man, guys these days really into being free and comfy.
Yes. I mean, I know it's different for women, but I wouldn't want to do that. I would feel like your jeans or whatever pants you're wearing are just gonna get extra sweaty and bally. I don't know.
Speaking of seeing things online before watching the video, I was somewhere on Instagram. There's a picture of Brad, and one of the top comments was, I wonder if he's wearing underwear in this picture. And I thought, wow, weird, creepy comment to make, dude. And then I watched this video and I thought, oh, okay. Slightly less creepy. Only slightly.
It's still a little creepy. I did think it was interesting that their thumbnail for this was the good fish jerky.
The good jerky.
Yeah. Because
Brad with the good jerky.
No, not the... I mean, that jerky was just basically it looked so dry. It did not look edible by any means.
Yeah. Well, this has happened a couple times, and, Brad is all for, things don't work. It hasn't always been Kevin sabotage, but,
yeah.
We've seen where he's brought in, backups before. That was in the ginger beer one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Where he's like, well, I've made it a few times. Here's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. But I couldn't recreate it live for you guys because just luck, things happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He normally draws attention to it when there are swaps also, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brad doesn't seem too bothered when it doesn't turn out his way.
We've talked about fish jerky before in the salmon, right? Because Emil made salmon jerky in the dehydrator for all the ways to cook a salmon.
Oh, yeah, he did. I would not eat fish jerky myself, but I'd love to watch Brad mess up at it.
I would definitely eat fish jerky. That piece of salmon looked beautiful. It's a shame that it got over-dried.
Oh, well.
On to one of our favorite new series, Reverse Engineering, recreating Paul Hollywood's Cornish pasties from Taste.
Oh, so sad LJ's not
I
here.
know. We needed her British perspective for this.
We did. I mean, partly just to ask, is rutabaga much more common in the UK than it is in the US?
And what does she think of Cornish pasties? Well, she did say that she ate those as a child instead of Totino's pizza rolls.
Yeah. I was like, LJ, how sad was your childhood?
Especially if rutabaga does truly taste/smell farty, as Sola said.
Or basementy? I was like, why would you eat that?
I can't even, how is that even a taste?
I mean, I've definitely had rutabaga at some point. I can't say that it really stood out for me, either good or bad. I think I would have remembered if it tasted awful.
Oh, man. And Brad's in this one, too. Brad is in, like, so many videos.
I like that Brad in this was also very loosey-goosey and had no idea what to do and started giving Chris hints about, like, well, you know, maybe it's a crimping technique. And you could tell, like, the producers were like, dude, stop.
Yeah.
I love that he was just literally reading from the script in front of him.
And Chris is like, yeah, I know, I've been on the show before.
Brad's just like, I've never seen it.
Yeah, I thought Brad was a really fun judge because we know how he feels about cooking competitions. He doesn't really like them. He's not a stickler for rules. I think someone online described him as the cool TA. And I thought that was a pretty good descriptor of how he handled this one. And also, as we know, Brad's idea of a good grade is very different from someone else's idea of a good grade.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Brad was very jazzed to give Chris a B, whereas Chris maybe wasn't so much.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think Chris enjoyed doing this one?
I mean, he's such a consummate professional. It's hard for me to tell his enjoyment level on things. I think he enjoyed the process, but I think he might have been a little disappointed with just what he was tasked with recreating.
Yeah, I got the vibe of he's like, well, if I was making it, I'd jazz it up a bit. Like, this is so boring.
Yeah, it seemed like he was kind of disappointed with the dish. But then when Manji showed up, he, like, fanboyed so hard and it was adorable.
Yeah. That was cute.
Yeah, I mean, he called what it was from the beginning, like, that it was a Cornish pasty, but it definitely seemed like this would not be his sort of food that he would make in general. Like, he wants a little bit more flavor. And I found that kind of interesting because I feel like, and LJ's not here to defend the UK, but I do feel like you hear sometimes with a generalization of British food is that it's a little bland and it's very just like meat and potatoes and that's it. And that was kind of what this dish was.
I agree. I was going to say something very similar. I think that it's these types of British foods that sort of give traditional British food a bad rap in general. Because this did seem a little oversimple, maybe a little bit boring, definitely a bit stodgy, saying that it has to have exactly 21 nubs for it to be a proper pasty. That just seems so stuffy and uptight.
That's so Paul Hollywood, and you know it.
It is so Paul Hollywood. Yeah, I was very entertained by this because, well, listeners, as you probably know by now, we all also watch the Great British Baking Show and enjoy it quite a bit. And I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with Paul Hollywood because I love his role and his character on the Bake Off, but I also equally love when he gets taken down a peg or two because he seems maybe a tad full of himself.
Well, when Chris was like, Paul Hollywood, what kind of name is that anyway? I've looked it up and that is his given name.
It's his real name.
It's his real name. I was just like, he was just born to that nonsense.
Yeah, I thought, like, as soon as I saw the title, I was so freaking jazzed. I was like, this was made for me. It's Chris. It's Paul Hollywood. I'm freaking out. I need to watch this right now. And then I was like, oh, this thing.
Like, I had fun watching the video, but yeah, the dish itself seemed just kind of... Like, every other one, it seems like there was some sort of twist.
Wild element.
To it. Yeah. Like, Manji, it was like the apples within, you know, and the way that it was cut up. Or, you know, the crackers on the lobster thermidor, which was also so interesting because he made his own... Like, Chris made his own breadcrumbs for the lobster thermidor. But then for this, he was like, store-bought pastry. I'll just do the store-bought pie crust.
Not a smart move. No.
Yeah.
That's
I
an
was
amateur
so
move,
shocked.
Chris. What are you doing?
I was really baffled by that too. I feel like the more of these videos we have, the more sort of tropes or themes or patterns emerge. And there's almost always one thing that he does that totally boggles my mind, where I think, why did you do that, Chris? And the store-bought pastry was definitely that in this episode. I just have no idea why he would make that assumption.
Yeah. What? No. Yeah. Come on, Chris.
He said it wasn't, like, there wasn't anything special about it or, like, too overly flaky. So he's just like, screw it. Like,
No.
And there's always the one ingredient that really gets him, like the rutabaga here instead of the parsnip that
which he
used.
put in the second one. And I thought, just
Yes.
leave the rutabaga in.
Mm-hmm.
I know, he was so close. I really thought he was going to get it, especially when he figured out the layering of the raw vegetables and then putting the meat on top. He got so close.
He
Yeah.
did.
Good job, Chris. You get an A from us.
Yes. And on to the next video. Rick makes apple cider donuts from the test kitchen. Man, Bon Appetit really likes their donuts.
Oh my god, I am kind of sick of donut content. I'm sorry. I've seen them make donuts so many times. And this video was like 19 minutes. I was bored.
It was definitely too long. I agree.
Ugh.
That opening, though, when they did the donut hole as him as James Bond, I watched that like 3 times. I loved that so much.
That was
It was
great.
cute.
They definitely have to continue with these fun, silly intros for Rick videos because I love them. I don't know if they'll ever top their first one with the tamales and the rose petals, but
Yeah.
That was good.
I'm excited to see them try to top it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As a Bond
But
fan, I was
donuts-
into this. But yeah.
Donuts, guys, come on.
Yeah.
Claire does them the best. I don't need to see Rick do them. I don't need to see Chris do them.
Yeah, exactly. I did really appreciate that Rick was very excited about this recipe, which is always good. I like to see when they're jazzed to make something. I liked that he really thought about making it very apple-y with the apple cider and the apple butter. I definitely agree that it's kind of hard to impart apple flavor into baked goods. So I was happy that he took that approach, but at the same time, I'm not excited about making this recipe, and I probably never will.
So this made me, when you mentioned the apple butter, and he was like, oh, most people probably haven't had apple butter, and you should try it. Apple butter is something I grew up with entirely because we have an apple butter festival here in Groveport every year. And so it never occurred to me that other people haven't grown up with apple butter until this video. So have you guys had apple butter?
Yeah, I love apple butter.
Okay, I'm like, is this a thing that people don't have? I don't know. That seemed like just a bit of an odd statement to me but then it like started messing with my brain because I was like, oh God, do I just know this because every October we have Apple Butter Day? And then you guys have had apple butter too. So now, and you're from all different regions in the country. So I don't know. I wonder if it's just that he didn't have apple butter growing up or something.
Yeah, I'm guessing they probably don't grow many apples in Texas. So maybe he didn't get much apple butter as a kid. We did get Brad showing up yet again in another video.
That's
He
true.
enters the test kitchen. Rick immediately notices him because he's laughing so loudly. And then continues laughing in the background throughout the whole video.
He does say he likes Brad's laugh, though.
Yeah, I thought that was cute. You could see Rick reacting to Brad laughing. He would just kind of smile and shake his head. I thought it was adorable.
I kept wanting to be like, hey, Rick, Claire's got this wonderful technique with parchment paper
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
that you should really do.
That's true. It would have been much easier to get it off the pan. He seemed to be having trouble with those cutout pieces.
Yeah. I did like that at least he, referenced that you don't want to scrap the dough, like the dough scraps. Like you put that together and make more, and he was into the donut holes. But yeah, overall, I'm with you, Justine, that it was like another donut video.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, for
I was
sure.
hating.
And also the flavor sounded nice. I thought the interior color looked really pretty, but I definitely did not believe him when he said how light and fluffy it was. It looked very dense and oily and heavy to me, which is not my favorite kind of donut.
Cake donuts in general are much heavier. Like they're just, it's
Yeah,
hard
they are.
to have any sort. I don't know if I've ever had a cake donut that's light and fluffy.
Yeah, which is why I didn't believe him when he said it was light. I'm like, no, give me a yeasted donut, please.
I will still eat any donut put in front of me.
I also thought it was interesting how Rick was very specific about how there needed to be some sort of icing or sugar or something on donuts. And when he said like, oh, Chris Morocco will say, give me an uniced donut or like a plain donut without any of the sugar or anything on it. And that he was just scandalized by that.
I'd be scandalized too. Kind of need to go all in with a donut.
Yeah.
Chris is a super taster.
Another one of our new favorite series, I would say. We really like this one. Andy learns how to cook Northern Indian food.
Love it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I loved this so much. It made me want to go eat Indian food so much.
Oh, I'm so sad. I got outvoted for Indian food tonight for dinner. I'm really bummed about that.
I think you need a recount.
Yeah. Who's ever producing this? I love it. I love the graphics. I love the flow of it. I love the story. I know what I'm going to get. Even this one surprised me because they made more than 3 dishes, and I was amazed by that. I learned a lot, and it made me very excited, and I cheered along Andy to do the thing. You got it. It was a whole movement and moment. You know, it was a whole thing. It was a whole show. It was a whole TV show.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one too, and I'm so glad I did because I'm definitely not an expert on Indian food, but of all of the Andy Learns videos so far, I probably know the most about Indian food compared to the other cuisines he's explored. But that being said, I'm definitely not an expert. I definitely couldn't tell you the difference between different regional cuisines within India. So even though there was a little bit that I already knew going into this video, I still learned a lot. There were still a bunch of different spices they told me about that I had no clue what they were. And I also found it very interesting that I guess I wouldn't know for sure unless I had a side-by-side comparison with different regional Indian cuisines. But I get the feeling that a lot of the Indian food I have eaten must be Northern Indian food because it seems to kind of fall under this flavor/dish profile that we see in this video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they cover, I feel like when you look up a lot of BA recipes that are Indian, they have a lot of like the dal or the paneer that they make here, the aloo gobi.
Yeah, everything they made looked so good. I was like, oh, I love aloo gobi. Oh, I love roti. Oh, I love paneer. Just literally everything they made, I kind of love.
I knew a lot of the spices because I have explored a nearby Indian grocery store with Ravi, and I've learned a lot, and we may go shopping after the new year.
But did the store have lemon juice in spray bottles?
Oh my god.
No, I don't think so. I doubt it, but I'll be on the lookout. That is, yeah, pretty ingenious.
Andy was just so enamored with that. I love, like, they're showing him all of this stuff and the thing. He's like, but wait, you have lemon juice in a spray bottle.
Like, that's how it should come.
I just want to spray it in my mouth.
Gross.
I was really proud of how Andy did in the end. I thought it was so funny that Priya liked his samosas better than Amma's samosas, but maybe didn't want to say it.
Yeah. I have been really hesitant to try Indian food because I did not grow up with it. I did not grow up around it. I'm from New England where there was none. It was
full stop.
Yeah. But like what really helps me is learning all the things that go into it, like how he's learning every single like individual spice and each individual sort of ingredient and it's built up into the dish, like the way that Andy's learning it, not just with this episode, but all the previous episodes, that makes me like more comfortable going to try something because I'm like, okay, I know everything that's in it. It's not that I've tried everything, but it just kind of helps me out that I'm like, oh yeah, I can see it, I can visualize it, how it's coming together. So that definitely makes me want to try it.
Yeah, well, like I said on the last episode, I had tried a new Indian food that I never had before because I didn't exactly know what it was, but I went ahead and went for it. And this definitely made me just want to go and try more dishes, like next time I go to my favorite Indian place. And when I watched this video, right after I finished it, I was like, hey, Mom, why did we never have Indian food growing up? And she was like, have you seen Central Ohio? She was like, there weren't any Indian places around here. Like, there are a lot more now, but in this part of the city, there aren't any. There's a lot more, like, on the north side because there's a higher Indian population up there. But it was just, like, I feel like I missed out, and I'm just now starting to, as an adult, like, get into these flavors and these tastes, and I want more.
I want more.
I always want more Indian food.
Yeah, I think it was a really good quality video. Like, I appreciate the time and effort put into it.
Oh, I thought the owner of the restaurant was adorable, and I could have used even more of her. Like, she was great.
I also really enjoyed the guest expert. She was a very lively, very funny person, so I enjoyed that also. Just one side note, again, I'm not an expert, but a lot of YouTube commenters were saying that there's more meat dishes in the UP than they felt the video characterized. And a whole bunch of commenters said that, no, Southern India does use ghee a lot.
Oh,
so
yeah, I saw that too.
Just thought I would throw that out there for another take on this video.
I appreciate them just focusing on vegetarian dishes, though.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like Indian food is either perfect or the worst for you, Justine, because it can be really easily veganized, but it's also very spicy.
I know. Seriously, that is the conundrum of my life. I'm working through it. I am.
This is a really small thing, but did you guys notice that they spelled amateur different in this than in the Priya video?
I did actually notice that.
Okay. When I ordered amateur recently for a dish that I'm going to be making, it was CHUR on Amazon, but in this video they spelled it CHOOR.
Maybe either way is okay. Okay, fellow Harry Potter fans, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but I thought that the uncooked samosas that Andy and Priya made looked like sorting hats.
Yes!
Oh my god!
They did 100%. I was thinking it too.
I did not, but yes, absolutely.
Carry on.
Glad I'm not the only one. Okay, speaking of dough, I don't know. I tried to make a transition happen. Pastry chef attempts to make gourmet pizza rolls.
Oh my god, can we talk about... Are we mentioning it in the shout out later, or can we talk about it now?
Oh, let's talk about it now. Yeah.
Do it.
So Erica from Les Represent podcast might be psychic.
Yes.
She commented that she had a dream that she was watching Bon Appétit and Justine was on as a guest because Justine had created the vegan version of Totino's pizza roll and called them Justinos.
Oh my God. Yes, this was way before this video came out.
Yeah.
Like a week before. I don't even know, but like, how weird cool is that?
Yeah, Erica is psychic. It's amazing.
I'm totally doing it. Like, it's happening.
Erica, please let us know anytime you have Bon Appetit related dreams because you're predicting the future.
Making Justinos right away.
Make Justinos, get on BA. It's going to happen. Actualize it.
Yeah, so LJ didn't have Totino's. That's what I was talking to her on Slack about and making fun of her childhood because...
or pizza rolls. Or,
yeah, just any pizza rolls, bagel bites.
Pizza rolls. Bagel bites, that's it.
Although I feel like, we've seen where Claire grew up. Claire's got a luxurious childhood. She had toaster strudels over Pop-Tarts. Of course she had bagel bites over Totino's. Come on.
Yeah.
I thought of the same rivalry. It seems like you're either one household or the other. It's just this unspoken thing. You either have bagel bites or pizza rolls. You either have Pop-Tarts or toaster strudel. Although I think that we were kind of a neither household for bagel bites and pizza rolls. Maybe sometimes bagel bites. I think that Totino's pizza rolls are kind of the ultimate college food or drunk food, which might be a little bit redundant.
Occasionally, Jeremy will get a giant bag pizza rolls and make that for us. And just split it into 2 giant bowls. And I'm usually like, that's cool. Here's the rest of mine. I can't eat that many. But,
as a dinner?
Them. Yes, as a dinner. That we have had that as dinner as a couple more than once in our marriage.
If BA doesn't consider pizza, a slice of pizza, a meal, then they probably don't consider pizza rolls a meal either.
Now we're asking the real questions.
It's all about quantity.
You know what, guys? I really, really, really liked this episode of Gourmet Makes.
Mm-hmm.
It was really surprising and different. Claire got to cook things, which I liked. Claire was super happy.
She was.
Oh, she was having the best time.
They hit the very good sweet spot of finding a perfect sort of snack for her to do this time.
I also thought this was a great Gourmet Makes. It really fits into the format we've come to expect, but it highlighted all the best parts. As you said, it was really obvious she was having a good time. And I especially noticed it when she was laughing at her own mistakes, which she did a lot instead of getting frustrated. Just even when she was rolling the dough through the pasta maker and it was set on the way too thin setting and just kind of annihilated it.
Yeah.
But she laughed and she was like, oh, I had it on the wrong setting. Whereas I feel like in another episode, she might have sighed and balled up the dough and been like, ugh, So it was really nice and refreshing. She was obviously proud of what she'd created and it really showed. And she was really triumphant and I just felt happy for her.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about that, how you said she didn't get grumpy, is I was going back and listening to some of our older episodes, and I was listening to the one that Justine and LJ did where they were talking about the Gourmet Makes donuts, once again, donuts, and the Mentos, and how Claire doesn't eat anything before she comes in and she's eating all that sugar. So I wonder if part of it is that this was a savory snack, so she wasn't having the sugar high and then the crash. It was more of a sustained energy.
I was thinking that too. We were just really concerned about Claire's health.
We just want to make sure she's okay.
Claire, you need to eat breakfast.
Another thing I really liked about this one is that I felt it really made a gourmet version. I think that sometimes Gourmet Makes follows the premise of making a gourmet version, like it says in the name, but sometimes they don't really do that and they go the opposite direction of let's recreate this as exactly as we can. And I tend to enjoy a little bit more where she elevates the recipe or the snack food. So I felt like this was really gourmet. She used the sourdough starter for the pizza dough. She milled the flour herself. She made the tomato sauce from scratch. She made the sausage from scratch. She really also nailed the texture and the look. And even though they were a bit bigger than the original pizza rolls, it still felt like this is very identifiable as a pizza roll, but so much better.
I like that in the beginning, even though she was like, it's just tiny Hot Pockets. And I was like, oh no, she's going to do the thing where she's just like, I'm just going to do everything that I did before. It really wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I had the same thoughts and I was glad that she definitely went in a different direction in the end.
And I like that Delaney came in. Delaney's the champion.
Delaney saving the day.
I know. And he came in and gave her the idea for the deep, the little needle thing with the deep fryer. And that was just so I don't know that I've ever seen Claire have so much fun deep frying something. And, like, just, like, she just seemed, like, so triumphant that this was, like, even when she had some setbacks, it wasn't disastrous.
Yeah, sometimes you need a buddy, and I feel like that proved it. I'm like, yeah, I want to see her be able to call for help, you know, and get somebody else to come in and tag team instead of her just, like, crying to sad music on the counter.
Yeah. Delaney really livened up this episode, and I love that he kind of filled the traditional Brad role. He helped her MacGyver something. He was definitely her hype man. I really enjoyed his addition to this episode.
Yeah, because lately Brad's been so busy, and then when he comes in, he's just like, oh, yeah, you nailed it, Claire, whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, get out if you're not being helpful. Oh, we have to mention Amanda.
Oh, yes. Justine and I learned that we both do the thing where you suck out all the insides of the pizza roll and then eat the pastry.
The outside. I don't know how this has happened. We've grown up on like different parts of the country, but yet we've eaten so many snack foods in the exact same weird way, often from the inside out.
You were like, did anyone do this? And I was like, how about I still do? Oh boy.
It's so weird.
When I eat something in a weird way, it's usually to maximize my enjoyment of the final bite. So like saving the best for last. And with Totino's pizza rolls, I'm with Andy. I don't really like the dough. So I like the filling. So I want to have a very filling full bite. If I sucked the filling out, I probably just wouldn't eat the dough, to be honest.
But I love how crispy the dough is, because if you bake
it's chewy.
Yeah, you don't do the microwave. I always prefer to do it in the oven. I was surprised
me too.
Into the microwave, but I love it.
Definitely bake the Totinos. I will agree with you on that.
We are now sponsored by Totino's. We've said it so many times.
Please.
Yeah, if
please,
you actually want to listen to a podcast sponsored by Totino's, listen to the McElroy Family Fun Hour brought to you by Totino's. It's actually really funny.
Oh my gosh.
Totino's, hook us up. Our next video is Pro Chefs Share Their Hardest Cooking Tasks.
This was an interesting. Do you need to say that again?
No, I was just being weird.
This was an interesting one because I feel like they all weren't given like the same sort of brief. You know?
Agreed.
Yeah.
So there were some parts I liked and I thought was interesting, and other parts I was like, okay, sure.
I totally agree. This felt very hit and miss to me. The parts that I like were the pairings that actually demonstrated what they were talking about, whereas the pairings that just described the food or their technique was not very engaging for me.
I also felt like with Sola and Priya, they were like, we don't want to... To me, that felt more of a production thing of we don't want to put in the effort of getting all of this food for you to try to make and show it. Like, at least that's how it came across to me. But
they made dumplings for Andy and Carla.
True. It just felt strange to me that, like, not everybody got to illustrate what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. What I really liked, actually, was Andy and Carla watching a BA video of Claire learning how to do the folds. And I'm like, I want to see a show of that. Them watching older BA videos learning a dish. I'm like, that's the new show I want.
They could watch some of those old hands and pans videos.
Yeah.
They even pointed out, like, her gray streak wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did. My favorite was Chris and Molly because they did demonstrate what they were talking about, and because as BA watchers, we know a lot about tempering chocolate and we know a lot about the struggle that goes into making it. So that one was something we already kind of knew about.
I was waiting for it to fail.
Yeah, I was really proud of them that it didn't fail. I also thought they were a really good pair, and it made me try to think back to if the two of them had just been paired off before. But I liked their energy. I thought that they were funny together.
I thought it was really good that it turned out okay, because if it had not, Chris was going to have to eat so much crow from every time
he told
Claire that wasn't tempered properly. Like, but he did. He tempered it correctly.
It was nerve-wracking the whole time, too.
It makes me wonder if some of Claire's past failures were just because she had so much going on with the rest of the make, whereas with Chris and Molly, all they had to do was temper the chocolate. And they said it was very time-consuming and very boring, and you just kind of had to be patient. Whereas when Claire's doing it, she's got a million other things going on.
Yeah,
they were like, we're just tempering chocolate. Come tell us stories. Let's come do something else. Like, they, you know, they're on total sidetracks.
I lulled at Molly saying she was going to go to a hypnotist to convince her to like chocolate.
And that she's serious about it.
Yeah.
I really want to see a video of this if this happens.
The Gabby and Brad demonstration, I think I walked away from that still not knowing what they were talking about.
I think there was one little side pop-up that said, oh yeah, you might put French fries in this. And I was like, oh, okay. It would have been helpful if they explained a little bit more about why you would even want to make one of these things.
So it's literally just about the folding the paper?
As far as I could tell. I thought they were going to do a piping bag technique or something, but then it was just a little paper cone.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was.
It reminded me of like the thing that in the back-to-back Carla made with Haley Steinfeld, but paper.
Like a little container to put fries in?
Yeah. I felt like this one needed a better premise. Like, or everybody needed the same kind of structure or rules or whatever. Because even if you're going to break it, at least like as a viewer, because what a lot of times they do with Text Kitchen Talks is like they come back around to something.
They intercut.
Yeah. And that didn't happen. It just like kept transitioning to the next one. And I thought, oh, okay, well, we're going to see how everybody did at the end. And then I was like, oh, no, it's done. Wait, what? Like, because I thought we were going to see like some sort of, I don't know, catharsis with the dumplings or something. Like, it just felt like it was sort of awkwardly just ending with each one.
Yeah.
And personally, I would have liked some sort of coherency with previous BA videos, kind of like with the tempering chocolate. This is something that we've established for the viewers. So I thought if all of the techniques were something like that, like how to proof dough or how to do browning butter, something else that we see a lot in BA videos that we as a viewer might be familiar with.
Oh, yeah. Just like a hard technique.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
I like that.
Next time on Test Kitchen Talks.
I think they're listening to our podcast and getting ideas.
Yeah. One thing I did like that we talked about in the past was that we felt that Chris sometimes overpowered Gabby a little bit when they were paired together in Test Kitchen Talks. So I liked the Gabby and Brad pairing. They always seemed to really vibe with each other, so that was nice.
I mean, that makes sense because he used to be the head test kitchen manager and she was his assistant. And I feel like they have a good vibe between them. And I know we already did the fish jerky one, but when he went into the walk-in and he was like, this is a really good looking walk-in, Gabby. Like, you've done a good job here. And she yelled out, like, I learned from the best. Like, all of that. It's so cute.
All right, and wrapping up with our final video, Pro Chef learns how to make dog food. I think this is another example of BA listening to the fans because everyone loved tuna in Thanksgiving episode, although maybe this was filmed too soon after that. But point is, we love tuna.
I didn't really see it before, but now I get it.
I was impressed by how well she listened when Molly would be like, okay, sit. And then Tuna would sit. And it was so wonderful. Because when I was at my mother-in-law's house, like, we had a miniature dachshund. And you could be like, Mac, sit. And he'd just look at you like, what the hell do you want from me? But we do feed him people food a lot of the time. So I thought that was kind of interesting in this video to learn, like, if a dog is, because so many times they're like, don't give dogs people food. But it's like, well, we're not giving him every single people food, but he likes vegetables and he, so he does get a variety of things like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
I was really surprised that Molly was not giving him cooked food. Like, she loves that dog. She has that dog's name on a necklace. Like, how is she not catering to that dog constantly? She's just giving him dry kibble?
I feel like this is a subject I can't really weigh in on since I don't own a dog. But if I did, I don't know if I'd be cooking them food every day. And even with Molly, like you said, it seemed surprising to you that she was not cooking Tuna's food for her every day. And even though she was sort of hyping up like, oh yeah, this was great, this was really easy, I should definitely be doing this, I got the distinct impression that she was going to continue to feed Tuna kibble because she was trying to fob off the duties on her husband, and he was just kind of like, nah.
The vibe of the video was a bit weird. It felt like a sponsored video, but for nothing. I'm like, what are they selling me in this? Because that's what it felt like.
Brought to you by pet owner shaming.
It did feel a little shamey of like, well, all of you should be doing this instead of giving your dogs kibble if you want them to live longer. And I was just like, oh God. Oh my God. Like, if Molly Baz doesn't have time to home cook her dog food, how do the rest of us have time to do it?
Hey, my mom made our dog Saturday breakfast, scrambled eggs and cheese and whipped cream.
That sounds delicious.
It wasn't. Did it feel different to you guys, like from the other videos?
It did feel different to me. I asked myself a lot of questions about this video. One was, would I have enjoyed this if not for finding Tuna adorable? Which is kind of hard from kind of a difficult premise for me to like separate myself from intellectually, because I do find Tuna so cute. But it's also like, okay, if I weren't a dog person, would I have enjoyed this video at all? And I think probably the answer would have been no. And the other question I asked myself was, does this fit in with the premise of Molly Tries? And as we've said so many times, this series still hasn't really hammered out its premise. Like, we don't always know what to expect from this series, which is both good and bad. And I think this was definitely one of the episodes where it was very unexpected. And ultimately, I kind of felt, well, I wasn't clamoring for this, but I'm also not sad that I got this episode.
Yeah, I think the show is, we're going to surprise Molly with something she's never done before. And it's true. She'd never made dog food before.
Yeah. I guess
true.
I feel like the stuff that I enjoyed the most in this video had nothing to do with the dog food itself. So like when her husband was like filming her, giving her the envelope at the beginning, and she was like, wait, I don't have pants on, what are you doing? And I was like that felt very relatable to me, because like at home you don't always want to wear pants, and then you don't want to be on, you know, YouTube without pants on, and they had like blurred her out. Or like when she was at the butcher and she was like, man, I want everybody to give me a credit card and just buy whatever I want here. Like, that's awesome. Like, those were like the things that I found the most, I don't know, charming about this video. Or like when her husband randomly showed up and she was like, wait a second, you were in a conference
You never
room.
bring me flowers.
But none of those had anything to do with dog food.
I really like those parts too. And Justine, you asked whether this felt different from other ones. And something that felt a little different to me is that I think the editing and the additional sort of silly stuff kind of stood out more than it had in previous videos in the series, but kind of like not in a good way. I found the rendition of Bingo, There Was a Farmer Had a Dog and Bingo Was His Name-O, that song just playing constantly was so distracting to me. I really didn't like it. The part where Molly talked about her fake restaurant, Molly's Meatballs and More, and then there was the record scratch and the explosion.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that's
graphics.
really overdone. I don't know. It stood out to me in not a good way.
Yeah, they were like, make it 10% goofier. Go.
Yeah.
So they had to do a re-edit.
And also, all of the little dog noises and whimpers and barks and everything were so obviously added later that it was really distracting to me. I was just thinking,
you can't forget a dog is there.
yeah, it's like tuna's obviously not currently making that noise, so it just seemed very cartoonish.
Yeah, there was like a quote unquote growl at one point that I was like, "There's no way tuna just did that. That was why?
Yeah." I feel like the other thing that made it feel different to me is that they didn't go to the test kitchen.
Yes.
It was a whole change of location thing.
I wondered if maybe there's just, health rules where she couldn't bring the dog to the test kitchen, because I thought about that too. So I think that was the only reason why they didn't go to the test kitchen.
They went to the fake kitchen.
Yeah, I think it had to do with health code violation stuff. And because
that was my guess,
there weren't any people who came in. Like Delaney texted her, and then she had to leave Tuna behind and go get the drinks. Like it definitely seemed like it was she had to keep Tuna away from everybody else. I also wonder if somebody had a dog allergy or something.
That's a good point, though. All of these videos is their interactions with one another. So when the rest of the test kitchen is missing, it feels like something's missing from the video.
Yeah. Okay. We solved it.
Case closed.
Done.
On that note, that was our final video. So it's time for us to debrief on what our favorite video of the batch was and what recipe we enjoyed the most and might actually make. So, Justine, what do you think?
I thought your transition was going to be, speaking of being done.
I'm leaving.
This is a tough choice. But I think my favorite video, and there were quite a few quality videos this time around, my favorite video was going to be Andy Learns How to Cook Northern Indian Food. I love the quality of this series. Every time we see it, I am so happy. And it has so far never, ever, ever disappointed me. It's just getting better and better.
Yeah.
As for what I would make, I would want to make gourmet pizza rolls and name them Justino's.
Yes.
I'm doing it.
You have to make Justino's.
I'm making Justino's. How about you, Amanda?
Oh boy. This was also hard because I enjoyed most of these a lot. Actually, I think Andy Learns How to Cook Northern Indian Food was my favorite also, followed closely by pizza rolls. Honestly, I don't think I'd really make any of these, but I guess if I had to choose one, I'll go with the bacon caramels. I would try it.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, now that we're talking about it, I'm surprised Justine didn't pick Chris's reversed engineering.
I know. Shocker. I know. I know.
But yeah, there were a lot of good videos this round. I think ultimately, this is a little surprising to myself, I think my favorite was trying everything on the menu at New York City's best barbecue joint.
Wow.
I know. I never thought that one of this series would make it up there for me, but I'm liking Delaney more and more. I'm just really enjoying his energy and attitude lately. And we still got a good dose of Brad. And Brad always entertains me. So I found this one just really funny and pleasant to watch. And like you said, Amanda, I'm having trouble deciding on a recipe that I would make because we actually only got one recipe video, which was the apple cider donuts, and I don't think I'll be making these. I think I have to go with the bacon episode 2, but this is really boring, but just the rack baked bacon, because that's usually how I make bacon anyway, let's be real. So,
do it. Go for it.
I'm probably just going to make bacon.
Make that bacon.
I'm surprised you didn't choose the Indian food to make.
I was thinking about that, but since they didn't provide a recipe, I wasn't sure if I would be able to recreate anything they made in that dish. They probably have similar recipes online, but yeah, maybe one of the aloo gobis they have. I'll check it out. All right, so as always, we want to thank you guys for reaching out to us on social media and letting us know what you think about our episodes. So we have some shout outs for you this episode. Thank you to Saffitz on Twitter for giving us a shout out. And she definitely helped us surpass our 1,000 followers on Twitter, which is super exciting. Huge milestone. So thank you if you're listening for following us on Twitter, if you do. And if you don't follow us on Twitter, go do it, please. We'd really appreciate it. Also, thanks to some of our listeners, Margaret, Jaslyn from Up in 10 Club, Diana from Happily Ever Aftermath, and Allison from Art History for All for reaching out and letting us know you were listening. Thanks again to Erica for predicting Justino's. And we have a review we'd like to share with you this week. Leela gave us a 5-star review titled Cheery Banter. It was quite a joy to listen in on the cheery banter between the hosts while I was living alone abroad this summer. I can't remember all of the hot takes from Amanda and Justine and LJ and Meg, but I'll just say that I like a good soup and I don't mind bananas.
Controversial.
So thank you, Leela, for weighing in. Yeah, controversial.
Oh, but I'm glad we could keep her company while she was living abroad.
Me too, definitely.
Yeah. I will say we have gotten our second 1-star review on Apple Podcasts, but they didn't leave an actual written review to tell us why.
Oh.
Yeah, they were too chicken to tell us why they gave
That
us
just
one
tells
star.
me we've made it. Because I feel like
Yeah.
every podcast I've ever done, I have 1 or 2 1-stars with not a single freaking comment.
Please leave a comment if you hate us. Thank you.
But even better, please leave a comment if you love us.
Yes.
So if you want to leave us a positive review, please do. That would be awesome. And we will definitely read it on the show. So I think that's going to do it. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Stay tuned for next time on the podcast when Amanda makes Priya's garlic ginger chicken.
Woo!
I'm so excited. I'm making a protein.
I believe in you.
I believe in you too.
Thanks for listening to Pod Appétit, a Bon Appétit fan cast.
We'd love to hear from you, so find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest at pod_appétit.
And on Facebook at Pod Appétit Podcast.
You can also email us at podappetitpodcast@gmail.com and find all of our episodes on our website, podappetitpodcast.com.
Until next time, the test kitchen is closed.
Newport Beach, the pool house, Captain Oates, Chino, ew. I'm Michelle.
I'm Liz. And I'm Ingrid. And we're
Let's Talk OC. We're the ladies that brought you Tree Hill Talk, and now we are on the West Coast talking about the early 2000s teen drama, The OC.
Join us every Monday as we watch and review each episode. We hope you can join us.